Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Tuesday 10 on Wednesday, whoopsie. So it's just been a very busy week. But anyways, let me introduce you to Tuesday 10. If you're new here, this is where I basically take 10 things out of my stash and we just have a casual make session and we keep on going until I use all of these things up. So this stash is from a big basket of things that I've collected over time and held on to and haven't used yet for something. So I will show you what I've got today. So first I have this little page from a children's book, My Nature Library from 1982. So it was the leftover page from a project. This is a jelly printed piece of paper from an old music book. This is a digital page that was left over because it was printed incorrectly. I think it's from the paper Cameo. This is a big page from a vintage magazine from Holland called Fleur, and it's just beautiful poppies. This is a page from a 1920s scrapbook that was made out of like an 1850s ledger. You can still see the ledger here and how they used it as a scrapbook. They glued things right over the ledger. So we have this on that side and that on that side, and I think I like that picture better than the other side. And I don't think I can get this up off the ledger. So, and then I have a page from this honestly horrible Christmas story called The Little Match Girl. It's like the worst, most terrible story. Don't read it because it's really awful. I don't know what was wrong with the minds of people who wrote these kind of stories back then, but I guess they came from reality. It's just terrible. And then I have this. This is another page from an old like 1900 scrapbook. Doesn't have a year on it, but it's like a large photograph, or I think it may have been the cover to a scrapbook, but it's nice. Then we have this is a picture from a book called The Wedding Birds from 1987. 1980, yeah, 86. Yeah. And this is that from the same book? No, this is from a French book from 2006. But it's kind of like a wallpaper. It's a fly page from a book. And then this is a page of frames from It Capilli Imaginarium on Etsy. So let's dive into this. Okay, so why am I late? What has been going on, right? So I would have had this video posted, but it's just been a bit of a crazy few days in this house. So we ended up getting a new dog, and maybe, whoops, I will pop a bit of a video in here about him and how he came to us here. So I'll see if I can get a little bit of footage of him to share with you at some point in the video. So his name is Rex, or Rexy, as his family named him, that had him before us. So we had an appointment with someone to meet a beagle, and I chatted with the guy for a couple of days, and he sent me lots of videos, and we talked, and his reason for wanting to rehome his dog is that, so I don't know if this is going on where you live, but the housing market is very difficult here, and I say that including rentals. Like rental homes, like if you're looking for an apartment or a home to rent, you're dealing with things that usually were reserved for buying a house, like needing a realtor. Oopsie, that one got weird. Let's get rid of that one. You know, needing a realtor's help to be able to just rent an apartment, having a bidding war to just rent an apartment, and being, you know, unable to find anything within your budget. Like we're seriously in an economical situation in this world that like is not getting enough action from anyone. It's kind of scary. So he is in a position, this guy who had this dog, of he's got to move out of his apartment, and he's having a lot of trouble finding a new place, and one that will accept pets nonetheless. So basically, you know, he didn't want to find himself too close to his move out date without a place to take his dog. So I said, okay, well, we can do a couple things. I said, you know, number one, I feel, you know, bad for you. I feel like this is such a horrible situation. And if you'd like, you know, I could maybe foster your dog for you. And then when you're ready, you know, you can take him back. It will give my kids a bit of a chance to see how a beagle in this house, you know, how they'd feel about it. And I'd explain it to them and, you know, have them understand that he's not our dog, that we're just watching him, that kind of thing. So he was like, oh, that's an amazing idea. He's like, but I don't know if I can commit to that, because what if I don't find a place? And I said, well, like I said, it's open-ended, right? Like, or he can become our dog. But, you know, he felt, and I get it, he felt like, well, what if you guys fall in love with him? And, you know, what if it gets awkward or something? I think people have a real concern about, like, you know, trust and that kind of thing. So I totally got where he was coming from. So I said, okay, that makes sense. I'm just, you know, trying to put a limb out there. So in that case, if you do just really need to get a new home for your dog, then let's meet up this week and, you know, we'll meet up the dog and see how it all goes and whatnot. So I said, okay. So then, you know, we were supposed to meet last Friday, and then he texted me in the morning of Friday and said, we have to meet on Sunday. And that was all I said. And I was like, okay, that was weird. So I said, okay, no problem, let me know. So then on Sunday morning, I hadn't heard from him, and I messaged him to say, hey, like, is 10 o'clock okay? What do you think? And then he said, I'm sorry, you know, I changed my mind. I think I want to keep the dog. And I said, okay, I understand that. That's no problem at all. And, you know, I assume he's figuring his situation out. So I left it at that, and I moved on to, we had one other dog, another beagle. I found like 2 situations where dogs needed homes, and I had, you know, conversations with the people about this. And this one I was connected with through a local rescue that I'm familiar with. So this family is a couple from Kosovo, and they it's very sad and frustrating. So they basically are trying to work out their immigration situation here in Canada. And, you know, sometimes the stars just don't align as we wish they would. So I understand that the man is, he's a roofer professionally, and, you know, for a while he was here by himself. He came to Canada to try to, you know, make money to support his family back in Kosovo, which is a difficult place to live. You know, it's you know, as he said, a third world country, very corrupt. It's very hard to get like water and electricity in a lot of Kosovo. It's not an ideal place to live. So, you know, he's obviously in the same position that a lot of people are, where they're trying to be the first generation to kind of get up and above, you know, that way of living. And so he's been here for 2.5 years, and his wife recently joined him, and they, you know, lived in a condominium, and they were doing so well and everything, and they went to like renew his visa, but his visa was denied because like of the time that he's already been here. And I think like they were trying to sort out how to like get his PR card so he could stay here for longer. So they decided to go the route of the PR card, and his PR card got denied by 10 points. So the way that immigration works here in Canada is that it's on a point system unless you're being sponsored by a spouse. So basically, you know, if you have family here, that's 50 points or something. If you have higher education, that's 50 points. If you're, you know, like a doctor, that's like 100 points or something. Like it's, you know, all these things that are like essentially qualities that make you a good citizen of a country. And unfortunately, things like living in a terrible place and needing to find, you know, a start don't count, which really frustrates me to no end, because I believe that, you know, none of us are entitled to live where we do. We're just simply lucky. We're born there. We didn't do anything to earn where we live, right? And yeah, it's a complex topic, like most things I talk about here. But so, you know, I met up with him, and I really hit it off with him. He was so nice, and so was his wife, and we got to meet Rex, our new dog, or Rexy, and he was amazing with the kids. He was very sweet. It was a very emotional kind of moment because, you know, I think he definitely didn't want to give up his dog, and he's, you know, dealing with the emotions of this whole situation. He took the week off to spend time with the dog because he knew, like, this had to happen. He's getting rid of all of his belongings, you know, that he won't be able to bring, and he's, you know, dealing with the hardest stuff in life right now. So I said to him, like, okay, so I'm totally in love with this dog. I think he's great. My daughter loves him. He's got a really good energy. You know, he's going to need a lot of work, though. He's going to need training and a lot of things, because I think they were quite freewheeling with him in turn, but you can't really do that with a beagle. Beagles need a bit of structure, and, like, they need training, and they need, like, neutering and all those things, right? So he's got some work to do. I've booked his neuter. I've booked training classes for him, and we've gotten him all sorts of toys, and he's doing good. So yeah, I mean, it's a complex situation. It's hard to find a pet these days, and have it be like a good situation, but I worked very hard to try to sort out the best way to do this, and I'm really happy with the result. Like, the dog is great, and I feel good about how we're getting him. So I exchanged, you know, info with this guy, and he's like, you know, I told him, like, you know, keep my number and I'll send you updates, like, you know, as time moves on, and we'll stay connected, because, like, you know, I know you love this dog. I mean, he was crying. He was so emotional about this. He was very, you know, torn. And so, like, he said he'd had other people that had expressed interest in his dog, like, a couple times through the same, like, charity that, or the same rescue that he'd connected with to try to get help, but he didn't feel good about them because one guy had mentioned that, like, you know, he had hunting dogs and he was really uncomfortable with that. And I said, oh yeah, no, I'm not into hunting, but I can tell you hunting is how I became familiar with the dog breed, because when I was a small child, my dad was into hunting, and he raised beagles for hunting and for family pets. They were both. But quite early in my life, my dad's heart softened and changed, I think, and he no longer had the drive to do that kind of thing. It just isn't what... I mean, I remember years ago, my dad, like, you know, there's like this status kind of quo among people. You know, generally speaking in society, I think we often feel a lot of pressure to kind of keep up with our peers, right? So, like, my dad has a lot of friends who are into that kind of thing, because where my dad lives, there's, like, a lot of, like, people who go hunting. Hold on, I just have to grab some papers to use as backing here. So, you know, my dad was hanging around these guys, and basically, like, he ended up getting what they call a tree stand. And if you're not familiar with that is, it's like this stand that you can attach to a tree to allow you to climb up high in a tree, and it gives you a vantage point of, like, the forest to be able to, like, stand up there silently scoping out animals. So, you know, my dad's, like, hanging around these guys and ends up getting a tree stand. And at first we were like, you're getting back into hunting? And I mean, I would say absolutely critical, and verbally critical, because I was just like, this is no. So, and there's a story behind this that I'll tell you afterward. But then it ended up, my dad, he didn't even own a gun or a bow or anything you could hunt with. So essentially he's a hunter with a tree stand as his only weapon. So it was for photography. He just didn't really talk about it because, you know, there's like this machioso kind of thing or whatever, I don't know, but everyone knows he's not fooling anyone, and I kind of think it's funny. And he doesn't even use it anymore, but, like, you know, it was just this weird time in his life. Okay, so I backed this cute little thing. It's kind of like a postcard. I'm going to see if I want to do anything else with it. I'm going to stitch around it, I think, but it's cute as is for now. So anyways, the reason, like one reason that my dad reflects on why he doesn't hunt anymore has a lot to do with me, because I'm a brat, but it essentially was like around Easter time, and ironically where we lived, like hunting season, including rabbit season, was a little bit before the Easter holiday. So my dad had caught a rabbit, like, you know, because he was a hunter, and I mean, he ate what he caught. That was absolutely the intention. But I remember just like being devastated. Like we didn't, I would say, actively eat a lot of wild game when I was a kid. I remember eating duck, and I liked duck when I was a kid. I don't eat it now, but I liked it when I was a kid, apparently. I remember like venison, like deer meat. I remember bear meat, like, you know, trying these things but never being into them. Because I think, especially for kids, if things aren't commonly in your palate, you're probably not going to be really that into them. You're not going to really like them. So I didn't want any of that. And I would always, as I got probably to the age of maybe 6 or something, I would start to say, like, what is this? Like, you know, because I didn't want anything weird. Well, weird to me, you know. So yeah, my dad caught a rabbit, and it was before Easter, and I was probably about 4, and I was convinced that it was the Easter bunny, and that I was going to pay a major price for my father, like, you know, killing the Easter bunny, and right before Easter, and it was like this whole hullabaloo. Like, I refused to talk to my dad for a long time. Like, you know, I was really upset with him, and he had to like negotiate with me as like a 4-year-old to try to explain to me that like the Easter bunny was not this bunny, and that he knew that, but he also didn't want to blow the magic of like the Easter bunny. So yeah, it was you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use those frames. I'm feeling like, I think the reason they're in my Tuesday 10 bin, and what's wrong with them, is I printed them the wrong resolution. So they don't have their whole frame. So they're kind of really flippity flappity tiny. I don't really know what I want to do with such a weird piece of paper. So maybe I will just like stop obsessing about them and just go, you know what? They're going to be just fine in the recycle bin. Nothing bad will happen. Okay, now we can move on happily and make fun things. So anyways, so yeah, I was very upset with my dad, and like we had quite a tussle about it. And then my dad just didn't go hunting anymore. Like it impacted him, I think, in ways that I didn't even realize. Oh, this is a really old piece of paper. Oh my goodness, where did this even come from? So this piece of paper is at minimum like 7 years old, because I used to be in the Mississauga Potters Guild. I was their web designer. I was like their kind of visual designer, and their organizer of like different kinds of activities, like workshops, and having artists come on a monthly basis to do talks. And I designed the logo for the Mississauga Potters Guild that they still use today, and that was one of my mock-ups. Like, I was just drawing sketches, and that's actually just the teapot is like the logo they went with. It's like a lid, the spout, the base, and the handle, and then the middle is like a swirl, like, you know, when pottery's going on a wheel. So that's what I ended up doing as my final kind of mock-up, with like the name of the guild underneath, and that's what they went with. So that's too funny. This is an old piece of paper, but yeah, that. Now this, I think what I want to do is make a pocket with it. So then my daughter, she had her beavers investiture last night, which is like your induction into the beavers, and that went well, and she remembered her beavers, like her little sayings that she has to say. They have this thing like, I promise to be kind and help take care of the world. And so she remembered that, and she got her little outfit. And they have this cute, like they get these little bucket hats with a little beaver tail that like connects through this buttonhole on the back. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And she got this like scarf thing, and like all these badges that I need to sew on. I have so much to do. I've got to wrap birthday presents tomorrow. I've got to order, I'm ordering a cake this year, and I feel like so weird about it. So like every year for my kid's birthday, I completely almost kill myself trying to like get the cake made because I always do some complex cake. Like last year, my kids, well, my daughter primarily, was really into Sonic the Hedgehog. So I made her a Sonic the Hedgehog cake, and it had two heads. One head was Sonic the Hedgehog. The other head was his best friend, who is this Tails character. He's like a little fox. I actually kind of want to keep that now that I've cut it. Let's fix it. So it was, the cake turned out beautifully, but it like took me forever to like pipe all the fur, and like, oh, it just took forever. So like about a month ago, you know, my husband said to me, like, you know, we're really busy. You have a lot going on right now. Why don't we just get them an ice cream cake from Marble Slab, which is this awesome place near us that makes ice cream like with mix-in kind of stuff, and you can customize it. And so he's like, why don't we just do that this year, and like you can take a break from all this stuff that you do, you know. And I said, okay, like kind of hesitantly, like I feel like, I don't know, I have this like overachiever complex. Not that I am an overachiever, I'm not. I'm just like, I want to be or something. Like I'm always like, I must make their Halloween costumes. I must make this. And I don't know what it is, but it's like, I think it's healthy, but it's not always healthy. Like you have to know like that there's limitations on things. Like you can't do everything all the time. And I think I struggle a little bit with that, like my own self, like, not my self-worth, but just like, am I doing enough for my family or something? Like it's a weird thing, and I'm sure that a lot of moms go through it. Like you just want to do the best, right, by those you love, and women become so sacrificial a lot of the time, and I guess sometimes we do need someone like a supportive partner to say, hey, you don't need to do everything all the time. So I have to order that cake tomorrow as well. And I actually think it's going to be great because they make really lovely ice cream and really lovely cake. So I think my kids are just going to love it. And like, yeah, it'll all be good. And then I asked my daughter what she wanted for her birthday party, like food. So we're having just a little family party just with grandparents this year. It's not really like ideal to have a lot of people around right now because everybody is sick. I want none of it. So, yeah, we're just doing family who we know everybody's healthy. We've all been kind of like isolating and being careful specifically for this event. So I was expecting to hear like pizza or even maybe spaghetti because she's asked for that. That was what she wanted for her birthday when she was 2. Like she was really into, that was her favorite meal, spaghetti. So I said, okay. So this year I said, what do you want for, you know, your favorite, like your food for your party? And then like her grandma said like, yeah, what's your favorite food? And she said, Thanksgiving. So I suppose I'm making a Thanksgiving dinner. It's funny because I had planned to make a Thanksgiving dinner already because my in-laws are American and they're here, and you know, the US holiday, like they have their US Thanksgiving in November, where in Canada we have it in October. And I'd planned to do like a little turkey for them anyways because, you know, there's this funny thing that happened just over, I guess, it's been almost, well, I guess 2.5 years now. And it happened on Canadian Thanksgiving, or no, it happened on Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, but they were here visiting us. So I had planned and I had started this meal, got the turkey in, got the potatoes ready, I got everything all prepped. But then this was about like, I don't know, maybe, well, it was maybe 2 weeks after I had my son, my baby. I started to experience a strange shortness of breath for no reason. It was very strange. So I called my doctor and she said, please, can you go to the ER immediately? You know, we need to get you into CT because you could have a blood clot in your lung. You know, that it's unfortunately it's common for people. I had to have a C-section with my son because I don't know, my bone structure is too small. My daughter like got stuck when I was having her, like, so like after like 2.5 days of labor, and she was like almost out, I had to have a C-section because she got her elbow stuck. So my mom had the same issue. It's just a thing in my family, I guess. So like she said, you know, please, I'd like you to get this checked out. So I did. I was at the hospital. So like this happened in the morning, right after I got the Thanksgiving dinner all kind of started. And I said like, okay, you know, and then my husband's like, all right, well, I'm going to take you in. And unfortunately we went to a Mississauga hospital that has such a long wait time, but it's where I had my baby and I had had great experiences there. So I felt like I'll go there. So that's what we did. And it ended up being like, I don't know, so like 15 hours or something in total. So what ended up happening was my in-laws were home watching our, at the time, 3 dogs, and me and my husband and my daughter, no, my son, not my daughter. My daughter was home with the grandparents. We all, like, you know, were disconnected after that point because I was at the hospital. So they had to, like, stay home with, you know, the turkey and all of that. And I had to go to the hospital. So the joke was always, like, that I was going to make this, like, you know, big dinner, and then I just didn't. So now I always feel like I want to make them a dinner because, like, we got home and they had made the dinner and, like, it was so funny. So yeah. All right. And so that's going to be a fun envelope, I think. That'll be good. I'm not going to line it. This is actually quite a thick, good thick paper. So that's that. Okay. We have a couple things left. I've been chatting, like, I've been doing this the last 2 Tuesday 10s, not really like telling you about what I'm doing, just kind of working and talking about my life. So I guess first I want to tear these out. I really like these. That's gotta go there. They're like basically collage pages. This is a collage page. Oops. Okay. So yeah, I have Sparks with my daughter tonight. So busy, super busy lately. I like this, and I want to like fold it like this, kind of like doors maybe. Like that. And it's kind of crackly paper because it's old. So what I want to do with this, I think, is back it with something. This. It's an old digital that I printed weird, so I'm going to use it to back this. And then I've spent like just the last couple days between dealing with the dog, the new dog, trying to socialize my current dog, like my other older dog, with the new dog, which is never fun. He's such a little old curmudgeon, but he's getting there. It's just going to take a few days. He did the same thing when we got another rescue dog. It took him like a week to kind of let it go. So, yeah. I've just been working on like house stuff and dog stuff and kids stuff, and in the meantime, in my spare time, I was working on the Pink Buttons journal, which I got finished, so that's good. And that was your probably Tuesday video. It's uploading right now. We had some internet issues because there was a big outage in our area, so that was fun this morning when I'm trying to do like virtual school with the AGO with my daughter, and like it was just a calamity this morning. I was joking with my daughter about like now she knows what it's like to be a kid of the 80s when you have no internet. She was not impressed with my jokes, safe to say. She's like, whatever, Mom. Okay, so now we've got this. Just do a little dramatic inking on the inside here. And I've been watching these really cheesy videos. So like, there's this show called 90 Day Fiancé, and I don't watch the show, but I watch the commentary YouTube videos from a couple of different YouTubers, and it just cracks me up. Like, it's the funniest thing. And I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but I really do. It's just too funny. I think some comedian type people, they just, you know, the story's not even necessarily important. It's just the way they make commentary. And it's like very unusual kind of content for me. I'm not usually into that kind of thing, but it was really funny. So I just kept watching them, and oh, what a crazy show. I don't have cable, so I don't know all these things, but okay, so I'm going to just take a little break and maybe do some stitching and come back. I also need to take my daughter to Sparks. For you, that's going to be like 2 seconds. So yeah, I will talk to you again in those 2 seconds. Okay, I am back. So this, I think, is super cute. Now I just want to put maybe something on the front, like a little cutout thing, and I have this Minte book. 1 minute. Sorry if I just moved you there. And I think if I could find something cute to kind of be like a little sort of closure, that would be nice. Like maybe this green butterfly. These little fussy cut books from Minte are so cute. My local paper store sells them, and I was there the other day and they were just getting some new stock in, and I saw that they're going to have some new ones, so I was excited about that. But one that I saw was like pets and the other one was Christmas, and that's not really my style, so I'm hoping that they actually get something that's like a little naturey or something a little different than what I saw, but we'll see. I didn't get to have a good look because he hadn't put them on the shelves yet, and I didn't want to be one of those people who's just like, you know, snooping. So what I might do is take my knife here and I'll put this on here. Actually, I should probably glue it down first so that it's in the same spot. Like so. And I'm thinking it would be really kind of cute to have it go right through here, maybe. Just want to be careful that I don't tear this up too much. I'm totally cutting toward myself. I should not be doing that. And definitely not demonstrating that for you, because then, you know, I'm leaving a bad impression on everyone, and you're just all going to go out and cut your fingers. So don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do. Now I'll just kind of pull this back a little. Get all the scuffing of the paper off the back there. Okay. I may clean this front up a little. How big we have to make it. Might need to get a little bigger to get that wing through. Yeah, a little bit. There we go. Is it big enough? Not yet. A little bigger. Sorry if you can hear thundering upstairs. It's now not only children but a new dog, so there we go. Okay. Is that close enough to hold it down? That might be the next challenge. Actually, it probably will. It just needs to flatten. It needs to sort of sit and get a better crease on it, and it will be fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's a cute little opening for that. Okay, so that's that. We know we have to stitch this envelope. I didn't do any stitching. These are all ready for stitching. So is this little booklet. These little bits I'm going to keep just as pockets. I'm not even going to do anything with them other than just stitch them because I like the kind of rough look of them. This I back. I need to stitch around. Okay. All right, and we have a couple things still left here. So let me just put the pin in the glue here, maybe. There we go. Put the knife away. Now we have this and we have these. So I think I like this bird. I want to try to use it maybe on here because it's a cute like background for this bird, I think. And I think I want to make it like a tag. Okay, sorry I had to take a little break there. Now I'm just going to continue with this little bird, I think. And just glue him onto this and maybe make a tag or something like that. I'll just snip the excess off here. So we still have a bit of that nice paper left, and then we have these. I'm trying to think about what I want to do with these. I also have some really cute like people that I might like make backgrounds with. I feel like making tags today, I really do. So I think I'm just going to tear these into tags. And I'll just keep these bits in my scraps. And that will still be a successful usage of these pieces of paper in my book anyways. So let me grab from back here these out of the way. I've got my little people back here in this bin. Okay. That's a funny one. And I can hear the new dog whining upstairs. He has a little bit of separation anxiety that we're going to have to tackle, but I can do that. We can do that. Okay, they'd be cute on that page, I think. And maybe the little umbrella girls on here. Yeah, that would be cute. Let's work with that. Just put my bin back so it's not in the way. There we go. I need to put some things away from past projects that are just hanging out here on my desk. Okay, so we need some backing paper, and I have paper bags again that I need to use up, so we'll do that. Okay, I just had to change my battery. Sorry for the little blip there. This video probably has been the most distracted one of all, I think, ever in Tuesday 10. And it's not even Tuesday anymore. This glue stick is dead. I need a new one. I think it's dead. Yeah, it is. Okay. Voila, new glue stick. Okay. So I have had a very kind of broken up video, I think, today with this video. I started this video like on Tuesday. It is now Wednesday, but I have no idea if that will come through in the video or not. Now that I've told you, you know my secret, but that's okay. Things have just been like that. It's been so busy. There we go. I'll glue this one down too. I'm like almost completely out of tags right now in my stash anyways, because I've been using them up and I've been sending them out in packages to folks who've been purchasing journals from me, and so we need more tags. So I think everything is ready for my daughter's birthday tomorrow. It's crazy because my kids are like, their birthdays are 5 days apart. And yeah, it's 3 years and 5 days apart, those two. And so it's like what we end up doing at this age is sort of having like a little birthday celebration for my daughter, and then we have like a party for both of them on the weekend, and then a little birthday celebration for my son. I'm sort of thinking about like how we're going to do this in the future to make sure that they all, like, they both, you know, they feel like the day is focused on them and it's not just this kind of cluster thing that we do. My husband was teasing me, like, when we got pregnant for the second child and we got our due date, kind of, my husband was like, okay, so the goal here is to have both kids on the same day because it's going to save us money and preparation time and all this. And I was like, okay, yeah, it doesn't work that way, but I'll keep that in mind. It's so funny. Okay. Yeah, so I got some footage of the dog chewing on his bone in his Kong thing. So I will show you some footage of him at the end of this video. So my last job now is to stitch these and come back and show you everything. So I will do that now and we'll look at what we've made and then you will see some dog footage. So just give me 2 seconds. Okay, we are back. I have used all of the 10 things. Let's see what we made. So number 1, we made this poppy envelope, so that will be fun to use. Number 2 is this little butterfly door, sort of like open piece. It could be a floating piece because it's got that fun jelly print there and the butterfly wing just pops right on through this slot. And when I stitched around it, what I did was I stitched around the slot that I made and I stitched around the butterfly so that like it would all kind of go together well. So that just needs to sort of sit and stay flat for a bit so it keeps its shape. And then we made this journal card with these cute little moles and this little toad and a little pocket with these hedgehogs and a journal card from that lovely old book. What a beautiful old image. And then these 2 little pockets that were also from that fun old ledger book. And then this little booklet of a snowy kind of town. And this little journal card. And then the 3 tags. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces. Okay, so on that note, thank you so very much for hanging out with me. Sorry if this was like a bit of a, you know, patched together video. It's just been a really busy day with all of the stuff going on in my house right now. So I will leave you with a little bit of footage of Rex, our new beagle puppy, who is being a superstar and really adjusting very well in the house. So yeah, I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.